For daily Ask Reddit. r/ask Reddit. What was your haha rhyme in danger moment? When I was about 14 I chucked a teen angst tantrum and went for an angry walk in the bushland behind my house. Didn't take my phone, didn't tell anyone where I was going, just stormed out. It started raining pretty heavily after about 45 minutes, so I turned back to head home, but a bridge I had crossed had been washed away and the creek was rising very rapidly. I, stupidly, skidded down the embankment to see if I could cross, but didn't realize the rain had made it too slippery for me to be able to climb back up. I vividly remember standing on the little patch of rock thinking haha, I might die. I didn't. I climbed onto a rock ledge, waited out the storm, and managed to make my way back up the embankment and return by a different route. By that point, had been gone for about 4 hours, and had escaped death, only to be almost killed by my parents. I was on a bouncy castle at a college ball and my friend turned the pump off as a prank. My head was sealed in the deflating plastic, and I was suffocating, kicking my legs wildly trying to free myself. I had almost passed out when someone noticed and pulled me out. It would have been quite an ignominious end. Went to a neighbor's house to help him decide on how to rearrange his living room furniture. First thing he did was start playing music on his TV at full volume, then went to his back bedroom and asked me to come look at a chair in there. I dipped. So I was walking to my school and there's this little street with 2 lanes that leads onto the highway that you need to pass to get to my school. I usually wait till everyone has passed since no one respects the yield, but that day the guy in the right lane actually yielded, which was awesome. So I made my way across. Suddenly as I passed through the right lane and entered the left lane, before my mind could process anything, my body just straight up stopped moving. I was briefly confused before I felt 2 cars barely graze both my front and backside. Apparently the guy on the right started driving again as soon as I was out of his lane, and at the same time a guy behind him was being impatient and jumped to the left lane without stopping for me, so they both passed me at the same time while I survived by being frozen in the minor gap between the two. Honestly, my subconscious is the only reason I'm alive today. My 3rd year fighting forest fire, I was upgraded to pump truck operator for a mop-up crew. After a section of the fire was deemed extinguished, they send in mop-up to make sure it's actually really out. I drove a giant pickup truck with a huge tank of soapy water and filled up portable water bags for the mop-up fighters. On my way back to base I had a bit of water left when I saw plumes of white smoke. You're urged to extinguish all smoke because no one wants a dead fire to come back to life. There's a fallen tree next to a bunch of bushes and another half fallen tree, and the half fallen tree is spewing hot coals every couple seconds with a loud pop. Each pop of hot coals makes the other wood products take off. The fire was at risk of starting over again. Right here lol. I had nothing but a piss and bladder bag. I bounded down to the pump truck, grabbed a hose, ran it up, bounded down, turned the hose on, ran up, and began attacking the situation. As I'm chasing down the heat and fuel source, I realize I'm surrounded by flammable objects. Soon after, I'm surrounded by giant flames. Alone. I was literally screaming and laughing as I hacked and sprayed away at the rising flames. I got it tamed down after soaking and chopping killed the main source. I also sprayed that out of branches, so soapy water was dripping everywhere. I had just finished rolling the hose back up and was catching my breath when these Marines came running up the hill. They were sent to investigate the smoky mess I'd been dealing with. Being high-fived by a Marine is a good feeling. Couple of days ago I was working up a tree. Arborist. The tree in question was a black locust that was dying at the top. However, the base looked fine. I set about slowly dismantling the tree, which was an awkward task because I couldn't get as high up onto the tree as I wanted due to the decay, and it was growing over a building, so I couldn't just let bits free fall. After an hour or so of working I heard a snap about a meter above me while I was about 13 meters up into the crown. I looked up to see a long branch above me that was growing into the crown of another tree had snapped. I realized instantly that this meant that the base of the tree I was in had failed and I was going to go down with it if I didn't get out. Before I could even react, the tree was free falling down towards the outbuilding that I had been working so hard to avoid. Time slowed down, and I could see my colleagues standing in the woodland watching me with pure fear on their faces. After that, it's hard to put my thoughts into words, but I remember looking down at where the tree was going to land and thinking that it's weird because this second I'm completely lucid, but a second from not I will probably be unconscious, possible never to regain consciousness, yet I didn't feel any panic, just knowing that I'm in extreme danger. All I could do was grab the nearest branch and plant me feet on another one and hope to God that I didn't end up under any part of the tree. After what seemed like forever, the tree came down onto the roof of the outbuilding. I had probably traveled 10 meters vertically and about the same laterally. The large limbs of the tree that were previously to my right but were now above me didn't snap and crush me like I was sure they would. I managed to hold onto my branch and stayed roughly in the middle of the tree. I was free from injury other than a twisted ankle and a twinge in my wrist from holding on tight as the tree smashed down. I don't know how I didn't get seriously fucked up by that tree, and I don't know why it failed on me, but I will never forget that knowing that I'm in danger, falling with tons of wood, and there's nothing I can do about it. Going home from a party in a shared Uber with some friends. I mistook the street for another one and ended up further away from my apartment than I thought. I put the GPS on and of course it makes you take some back alley. At one I see some movement near a car and there is a guy looking at me. I pass him, try to call my friend because he was looking weird. BTW, I did the wrong number and someone got a voicemail from me sounding totally terrified and spitting nonsense. I walk faster and look back. He is dunking behind another car and clearly switched from his original place. And he has a small knife in his hand. I bolted from here, ran as fast as possible with adrenaline, and stopped after finding a busy street. But when I saw the knife, that's when it went oh shite.